polyphenols, not only do they help control your metabolism, they help reduce weight. They also help improve your immunity. Now, these polyphenols are special because, hi friends, I found another short on how to improve your gut health. And it says, eat the rainbow. So let's see what the rainbow means to them.
Your gut microbiome is to eat a wide range of plants. Research from the American and British Gut Project found that eating 30 plants a week is the sweet.
Wow. Okay, so number one, well, I actually agree with that. One of the best ways to nourish your gut microbiome and to keep it healthy to prevent Clostridium difficile is to eat a wide range of plants. And it's starting with red or purple cabbage, one of my favorite cabbages to eat. I think it's crispier than the green variety. Now, I wouldn't prepare it like that unless you're going to cook it, because cabbage actually traps in a lot of bacteria. One bacteria that it traps is Listeria monocytogenes. Now, Listeria is a bacteria found in animals. Now, how would animal bacteria get on cabbage? Well, cabbage are low-growing vegetables, right? And so you would think that because it's wrapped as a tight present that it's sterile. No, it's actually, it gives people a false sense of security that because it's wrapped that it's sterile inside. It's actually not sterile inside. So if you have some kind of immunocompromised condition, like let's say you're pregnant, or let's say you're undergoing chemotherapy, or you have any kind of autoimmune condition on chemotherapy to suppress your immune system, that is not a cabbage I would eat, because inside would be trapped bacteria. I would take every single leaf, and I know it's a pain in the butt, but I do take every single leaf and I clean it, because, I don't want bacteria, right? I don't want pathogenic germs. And I know that there's been so many outbreaks with cabbage already that, I just wouldn't eat it like that. But I definitely would eat red cabbage, and I definitely would eat that over green cabbage. And I do agree that one of the best ways is to diversify the amount of plants that you eat. 30 is what they advocate, because that's what research has shown. I target like 50 in a week.
Research from the American and British Gut Project found that eating 30 plants a week is the sweet spot for the most diverse microbiome, which is
So they have like 2 different cruciferous vegetables, and I believe that's like a squash, and that is carrots. And that is a wonderful blend for a salad.
associated with better health.
Notice that they're pairing relatively vegetables that aren't so sweet with vegetables that are sweeter. And I think this is a great pair, right? And I usually do that combination. And notice how they're also pairing vegetables that are crispy and crunchy, like the cabbage and the carrot, versus vegetables that have a softer texture, like corn is really not a vegetable. It's actually a grain, but corn and then the squash. Now, if you cook the cabbage, it'll actually be sweeter. And the same thing with the carrots. If you cook these things, you concentrate their flavors, and the zucchini as well. And so that's why they're actually sweeter. So if you want a sweeter vegetable dish, then cook some of it, mix it with your raw vegetables, and that will taste so much better.
Outcome. These rainbow veggie fritters.
Okay, so those are wonderful. The green onions as well as the peppers. Now, not everybody can tolerate pepper because of the capsaicin, but peppers have some of the highest vitamin C levels. In fact, red bell peppers is how they isolated vitamin C. Now, green scallions, or just basically the onion family, they're high in quercetin. Quercetin is a plant phytonutrient found in a variety of plants. Onions have some of the highest levels of quercetin, and quercetin, along with vitamin C, they work together to decrease inflammation better than either one alone. So I'm always adding onions to all my food. In fact, I visited a friend once in the hospital, and I brought my red onion, and I just wanted to add it to my food. And they asked me how I was going to cut it because I didn't have a knife. And I'm like, I'm just going to peel it and add it to my salad. That's what I did. I cleaned it, I peeled it, and just add pieces of it to my salad.
Are a perfect recipe to pack in whatever veg you love, or the
Okay, that's a lot of salt. And personally, I can actually eat that without any salt. I find like sugar, people oversalt their foods. I had a roommate once who, wouldn't even taste the food that I made. And she automatically just dumped a bunch of salt in it. She just said, it's because I never salt my food. I mean, I salt the food. I just don't put very much of it, right? And so just be careful how much you salt your food. It's recommended that we stick less to 1,500 milligrams a day of sodium salt. Now, some people use potassium salts to replace that. That actually significantly decreases people's blood pressures just by replacing potassium salt. Now, one of the best things that we can all do for our health is to reduce our salt intake. So not everybody can eat salt substitutes. like potassium because some people have kidney issues. So if that's you, then please check with your physician. But a great salt substitute that has a salty flavor is miso. There's several problems with salt. Part of it is swelling, causing heart failure. Like heart failure patients, they come in after going out to eat because they've had too much salt, right? Happens with holidays, restaurants, things of that nature. But if you substitute miso salt for people who are addressing their blood pressure, miso salt doesn't actually elevate blood pressure. So I've learned to use miso salt to cook for my family because they need that salt taste. I personally don't. I can eat things plain. There's plenty of sodium already in the foods so that unless I'm excessively sweating, I don't generally gravitate towards adding salt to my foods.
The veg that you're slightly neglecting in the bottom of your fridge.
I'm not sure what she's sprinkling on top. It's powdered something. She may be I don't know, it's like a powdered flour of some sort. Hopefully it's a bean flour. Bean flour would actually help it to stick together and be a healthier vegetable dish.
By including different colors, you're ensuring that you're feeding your gut microbes with a wide range of polyphenols.
So she is cooking it. And absolutely, the polyphenols, not only do they help control your metabolism, they help reduce weight. They also help improve your immunity. Now, these polyphenols are special because they can inhibit digestive enzymes. And some of you have asked, why would you want to inhibit digestive enzymes? Because the faster you digest your food, the quicker your blood sugars will rise. And to mitigate this system, when you eat more polyphenols, it prevents that quick release of energy and actually slows it down so you have steady energy, right? The steady energy is what we want. The big up and down shifts is what we're all trying to avoid. The polyphenols also interact with your gut microbiome. It's like a prebiotic. It feeds healthy bacteria, whereas discourages pathogenic bacteria. So I'm always looking for polyphenol-rich foods.
Polyphenols, a type of antioxidant that acts as rocket fuel for your gut microbes, promoting the
Absolutely. Oh, she's making like a pancake.
The growth of good bugs that play a role in your overall health. And to really ramp up the gut health benefits, we're serving this with a kefir-based dressing packed with...
So I absolutely agree so when you eat fiber that you can't digest, the gut microbes actually can digest that fiber and it converts it into short chain fatty acids. Even though you're not eating the fat directly, it's making fat for you. And these fats aren't just any fats. Fats are very much a biological signaling molecule. There's all different kinds of fats, right? Think about it. Steroids, very highly aggressive fats. You take exogenous steroids, you get in big trouble with your immune system, with your cardiac muscle. There's so many problems with taking steroids. So it's very, very powerful. So when you eat fiber, you're making fat. You make butyrate. But see, this special fat, these short chain fatty acids like butyrate, they actually are the energy that feeds your colonic muscles to get those muscles to squeeze and get you to have a bowel movement. This is why people who eat a lot of fiber, they don't get constipated. They have very satisfying bowel movements because they have the muscles to squeeze it. And it's, I have lots of conversations with lots of people about how they struggle with like irritable bowel syndrome and they just, don't feel well and they can't eat a lot because they don't feel well. And they have this vicious cycle of not feeling well, not eating a lot, then not feeling well, not eating a lot. And most of the time it's because they don't have fiber in their diet. And when you're training your gut to eat fiber, to tolerate fiber, because it's like a battery jolt, you go from like no battery to totally supercharging it, then you're not going to feel so well because the gut's going to move and it's going to be alive and it's going to squeeze and push and all that doesn't feel so well when you're plugged up, right? Because it's trying to squeeze hard poop that's been there for a long time. And poop that's been there for a long time becomes toxic, right? That's why your body is trying to remove it because there's lots of things in it like estrogen, cholesterol, literally pesticides, right? The stuff that we eat, if it sits there, your body reabsorbs it. So you really want to, as soon as you make poop, you just want to get rid of it. You don't want to have diarrhea, but you really want to have normal, healthy bowel movements. And you do this by feeding your gut microbiome to help make energy for your colonic cells to move, right? That's the power of eating fiber. Ultimately, you guys have to make up your mind what you want to eat because you probably have different food options than I do where I live. And my whole goal is to introduce you to a diversity of healthy foods and to understand that each food may have plus and minuses. And it's really up to us to pick the ones that have more pluses than minuses. So I am not in the camp of changing my dietary habits just because some science says that something is better or another, unless I've seen people eat that and that they're okay having eat that for generations.
With probiotics.
So I think she said something about a probiotic dressing. So that must mean some kind of kefir like, yogurt-like substance. Yeah, I'm not into making kefir and yogurt. I think you could do it wrong and then get bad bacteria. So I personally don't do that. I don't eat fermented foods. I try not to ferment my foods. I try to avoid all those things, especially salted fermented foods, which has a higher stomach cancer rate. I eat enough fresh vegetables. Now, if you cook your vegetables, you're going to need to do that. But if you eat fresh vegetables and you eat fresh fruits, you're going to pick up a ton of bacteria and germs on there because there's no way to sterilize it. There's just no way to sterilize raw, fresh, whole foods.
This really is such a simple and delicious recipe, and we just cannot wait to hear what you think.
Yeah, that looks absolutely delicious. I just probably would, I make a cilantro sauce. I think she put cilantro. Let me see what she did with this.
Ensuring that you're feeding your gut microbes with a wide range of polyphenols, a type of antioxidant that acts as rocket fuel for your gut microbes, promoting the growth of good bugs that play a role in your overall health. And to really ramp up the gut health benefits.
Okay, so she put a bunch of cilantro. Cilantro is an excellent dressing. Now, even if you don't like cilantro, when you blend it up, it doesn't have that bitter taste. Because I know some people either hate cilantro or they really like it. I eat cilantro just about every day. And let's see what she put. She put garlic.
Dressing.
And she put lemon in it. And then whatever kefir-based dressing, which I assume is some kind of a yogurt-based dressing, since I don't eat yogurt and I don't eat plant-based yogurt. I don't like any of those things. What I do is I basically put cilantro, I put tamarind, I put a little date, because I kind of like the sweetness of fruit. And these things have not been shown to ruin blood sugar metabolism, right? I mean, I'm not eating purified date syrup. I'm eating actually whole date. The garlic is super tasty. I'll add some ginger. I'll add some miso instead of the salt that she's putting in. And then I'll pulverize that with cilantro. It is an excellent, the other thing I put is lemon juice like she did, and I put some balsamic vinegar. It's an excellent tasting sauce. I mean, I love it. And my kids, they actually love it too. And that's one way to get them to eat cilantro because, it's not so tasty in the beginning. And slowly over time, they learn to enjoy cilantro just chopped up.
This really is such a simple and delicious recipe, and we just cannot wait to hear what you think.
Yeah, I think that is a delicious recipe, and I will make that, right? By the way, if you cook that cabbage, then you will kill the bacteria. And if you want to learn other anti-inflammatory recipes, check out my next video.